There are two subjects that are not taught correctly. And when I am king, they will be. Now, if you would vote for me for king, many beneficial things will occur. One is the cost of elections will go way off because there won't be any more. I'll be king. Football will become much more satisfyingly violent. I just don't believe in all of this restrained violence. You know, if people want to see grown men run into each other at high speed and mangle each other, then by God, let's give them some real mangling, some real violence. Okay. All right. So now, um, the first subject that is not taught correctly is evolutionary biology. And the reason it's not taught correctly is that it is just rife with knuckleheads who want to argue that there's no such thing as evolution. You know, let's take a look at intelligent design. Now, one day sitting and listening to some nincompoop talk about intelligent design, I thought, you know, there's no evidence that the intelligence behind intelligent design is benevolent. In fact, there's an awful lot of evidence that if all of this was designed by intelligence, it's a mean ass intelligence. I mean, there's some ugly, ugly shit out there. Okay. But so, you know, you can't seem to hold a course without people getting their undies in a wad about creationism or intelligent design. So, the way you need to structure the course is not about evolution, but what is science? What is the scientific method? So then you take a look, you evaluate the theory of evolution as to does it fit within the definition of the scientific method and the definition of what is science. Then you take a look at intelligent design. Now, some guy, well, you know, the nice thing about intelligent design is God said it, I believe it, that settles it. You know, there's not a whole lot of thinking has to go into it. You just take as an answer, well, you know, God made it, or this intelligent thing created it. All right, so that's the first subject that needs to change how we teach it. Change to what is the scientific method? And then we'll take a look at evolution. Does it fit? Okay, now the second thing that's not taught correctly is history. And when I listened recently to a history professor talk about the challenges of teaching history, whoa, that sounded an awful lot like the inquiry of religion. What is religion? And, you know, to try and get to what did actually happen. So, for example, the Gulf of Tonkin incident that almost everybody believes was totally made up crap and got us into the Vietnam War, and there wasn't anything there. The inquiry of what did actually happen at a remove of 30 or 40 years or more is is about as probative as the inquiry into the nature of God. So give it up. Stop this. Stop the focus of the study of history on what actually happened. Give that up, and instead teach history as critical thinking. So let's say, let take a look at the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So you've got those of us who say, well, you know, if we're going to condemn it, we got to give equal condemnation to the Japanese barbarity of the rape of Nanking, the Korean comfort women, the hundreds of thousands of people the Japanese just merrily slaughtered. Okay, Chinese that they slaughtered. Okay, and then you go to the Hiroshima Peace Garden and the shrine that the Japanese go to visit every year to honor their ancestors, a large number of whom were war criminals. So, this inquiry of what is history and what do we use it for, how does it define us, what should we teach children, what do we want children to understand about how to define us, these are all religious questions, or they're very, very similar to the kinds of questions that we ask in religion. So stop the inquiry into, hey, what really did happen, and then change it over to critical thinking about how are we going to view these historical incidents? What use are we going to make of them? How will we teach them? Who will we teach it to? There you have it. May I have your vote for king?